So let me first of all introduce the founder of our club, Mr. Tom Bartkowski, who will lead actually this session, and I will be the presenter of one of the topics. Please welcome Tom Bartkowski.
Good evening, good morning. I know we're all in different parts of the world. And so today our topic is about public speaking skills and why they're important. Before I do that, I would like to introduce a little bit about myself and our club. In this picture, you can see my wife, Michelle, as well. We have our two sons, Joshua and Leo. When we do the EQ session, you'll hear a little bit more about them. So it's good. So we're sharing the screen, so if you do your screen 50-50, you can see me and see the slides at the same time. But Toastmasters is a place where leaders are made. And so it's about improving public speaking skills, but it's also about developing leadership. So towards that end, what we try to do is help people improve in all areas. So there's Toastmasters clubs have been in existence for almost 100 years, 143 countries around the world with over 360,000 members. And in all those clubs, it helps people develop their speaking skills and grow in different ways. And so one of the things I want to do right now is to enable us to get to know each other a little bit and move forward, is we have a few questions to get to know you. So you'll have to raise your hand. You can either raise your hand if you have your video camera on or use the reaction button to raise your hand. So the first question, just to get to know one another a little bit better and understand you, is if you like nature more than city, raise your hand. So if you are a nature person, raise your hand. So you can see the reactions on looking at you on my screen. If you're a city person, don't raise your hand. If you like the nightlife, going out, I see a lot of people like nature. That makes sense because we're about to working on an ecological project. The next question is, if you are competitive, whether it's board games or just skiing, whatever, you got to be first one on the hill, raise your hand if you're a competitive person. Would you consider yourself competitive? You like to win? You like to compete? Okay, a few people there. That's good, thinking about it. The next question for you to think about is, who are rule followers? If you're a rule follower, raise your hand. This means not only do you like to follow the rules, you know the rules, and you want other people to follow the rules. So that's important for you. You're like, yes, rules. On the other hand, if you think rules are meant to be bent or broken, put your hand down, maybe scooch down if the rules aren't for you. Okay, we're seeing our audience is mixed here. Okay, next one, raise your hand if you're an optimist, if you're the glass is half full kind of person. If you think the glass is half full, raise your hand. Oh, we got a lot of people like that. That's great. We got optimists here. The next question for you, are you a risk taker? A couple members of our club have gone to base camp at Everest. They like hiking, going in the mountains. So if you like challenges, taking risks, put your hand up. Okay, a few people there. Who here is a perfectionist? If it's worth doing, it's worth doing right. Raise your hand if you're a perfectionist. Like everything. Oh, not very many perfectionists in this crowd. I'm surprised. I thought we'd have a few more. A couple of hands there. The next question, are you more, when you think about making decisions, you think more how it affects people, or are you more interested in getting results? So if you're a people person, raise your hand. If you're more interested in getting results, keep your hand down. Okay, looking at you guys. All right, I guess we're more about getting the job done here. The next question is, are you an extrovert or introvert? So if you're an extrovert, move your hands like this. Extrovert should be moving like this, like showing energy, right? If you're an introvert, hands would be down. Okay. All right, we got definitely some extroverts in the crowd. Some of you were moving quite well. I like to see that. Okay. Well, what I want to do now is talk to you about the importance of public speaking and why we're doing this training to help you prepare for your pitches. And as we do that, the first thing I want to point out is there's some people that have rose-colored glasses, right? Everything they see is rosy. It's all going to work out. Other people put their glasses down. They're a little more skeptical, right? They want to see the data. They want to know the facts. So people are different. And so when we approach public speaking or doing pitches, you have to understand we can be very positive about it, but we have to communicate those ideas because people out there may be skeptical and may not be ready. So a few things about Toastmasters, what we've seen happen is Toastmasters, they have corporate clubs that help people in companies to develop their public speaking skills and presenting. We do it, it helps you to present at conferences to get your ideas across in a more effective manner. We've done it in various places in educational institutions, helping students and grad students learn how to present their research and understand the importance of that. And here's a photo of me visiting Toastmasters in China. I've also visited Toastmasters in Colorado and Boston. So anywhere you go around the world, what you'll see is the model's the same, helping people give speeches, because wherever you go, it's an important skill to learn and to have. And so this is an example of one person. She worked for Deloitte, Olya Kim. We saw her develop being involved in Toastmasters and being involved in meetings, being someone who didn't know how to express herself, becoming confident and presenting a speech. I've heard hundreds of speeches in our club, but at her last speech she gave before she moved to another city, I still remember her speech 5 years later. And it's because of the things that she learned to say. So it's important to give a speech that people remember, and that's what we try to do. Also, Toastmasters has a worldwide speech competition. You move up from your local club to the area, to the district, to regionals. And so in our region, we had one of the members from our club was the Central Asia speech champion, Vladislav Son. Last year, the winner was Michelle Barkowski for Central Asia, and she'll be one of the presenters later tonight. As well, members of our club, there's an event called Go Viral, which helps sponsor things going viral using internet, the technology to help startups and other things for social things as well as for-profit things. So our team has gone there and done presentations on public speaking, on networking. And as well, one time we did a workshop on pitching your ideas. So the interesting thing is the people that we help coach, the members that I help coach, they got first, second, third, and fourth place in that contest for Go Viral. And one of our members actually pitched his own idea and he won the award. So it's not just having a good idea, it's learning how to share that idea, and that's what you'll be learning about today. Here is a photo. If you look closely, do you recognize who that is in the photo? That is the CEO of Google. So you may not know this, but there's a technovation. It was taking women, trying to get them into technology, and especially young girls, teenagers. They developed apps and they pitched their idea. And so our young team from Kazakhstan won grand prize. They got to go to Silicon Valley and meet the CEO of Google. It was a member of our club who helped coach them on how to present their pitch. Because it's not just enough to have a good idea, it's about how to get the ideas across. And so our members have experience in that. Ilyas Batirov, who will teach a seminar later, through Toastmasters decided to start his own business, teaching public speaking skills in Russia. And so he was so successful that the government invited him to conduct these workshops all over Kazakhstan for women entrepreneurs, helping them communicate their ideas to investors, helping to recruit partners. And so it's something that's a very important skill that people support. In the middle, you'll see one of our members, Jill Dees, learning to explain her ideas and capture people's attention. When she was in a job interview, people asked her more about her Toastmasters experience than they did her job experience because of the things that she learned and the confidence that she gained and helped her to get a job. Now, Brandbeck, through being involved in Toastmasters, had an idea to start Eye Doctor. It's a medical company online. And he was able to pitch his idea and he became the CEO and is part of the Chaco family here in Kazakhstan. Another member took his idea, his finance background, and started his own online business academy teaching about financial principles. Again, because he's able to do this through Toastmasters. And not only business, but also social projects. Every year for the past several years, our club has organized an eco-picnic. So we've had to learn to pitch our ideas to sponsors, to partner with other organizations, and we go around and we clean up an area and put the garbage away. And so all these things demonstrate the importance of public speaking skills, able to communicate our ideas and get them across. So now I want to introduce to you our first presenter tonight is Michelle Barkowski. She was the Central Asian Speech Contest champion last year. She'll be talking about the importance of your opening and conclusion in your speech, something that's very important. And let me welcome her right now.
All right. Thank you so much, Tom. Great. Okay, now we're ready, right? Hello, everybody. My name is Michelle Markowski. I will be giving you the first seminar session tonight about the importance of a very strong opening. It's very important to know what you want to say and not be boring and not stay flat as you talk. Gotcha. Hey guys, my name is Michelle. I'm happy to be with you. I'm happy to talk about how to have a successful opening. I open that way because a lot of times that is what we do. We don't even realize that we talk, that we don't have a lot of emotion. And I know for what you all are going into, I really believe that the beginning of a speech and the ending of the speech are some of the two most important parts of giving a speech. And as I've been in Toastmasters for a few years now, one thing I really notice is that so many of our speakers don't get, they don't get this really well. And so I'm excited to share some of my experience in Toastmasters and kind of share what we've learned. So I want to tell you what the criteria is for a successful speech. Let me see. If there's anything that you will walk away with from my session, it would be, this would be one slide that I think is one of the most important. The biggest thing is that you need to get the attention of your audience. So for example, the way I started, it didn't quite work, did it? But what if I walked in like this and said, hey guys, how are you? I'm really excited to talk to you today about how to get the attention of your audience. So now you might remember this lady, older lady, who's wearing a mohawk, right? But we need to think about how to set ourselves apart. We need to think about how to get the attention of our audience. We want to introduce the topic quickly. You don't want to wait to introduce your topic. You want to go straight in. You want to build rapport. You want to, present who you are. And then I think the one thing I really notice about when people do give speeches and they are giving their opening, it should take less than 5 to 10% of your entire speech time. If you have a pitch for 5 minutes, that's 30 seconds. 30 seconds should be your opening. I've been in our meetings, we have our meetings on Wednesday nights. I've been on meetings where our speakers have been up speaking and we have timer cards that we show because time is an important part of our meeting. And we show a time at the minimum amount. And some people are like, wait, I just started. And they haven't broken up their speech in the right way. You don't want to spend too much time in your opening. There are different opening techniques. And I'm just going to share a few that I've done as I've given some speeches. Here's one, tell your listeners why it's important. And when I think important, I think of passion. I think of being able to communicate your intro with passion. I actually gave a speech yesterday for a Toastmasters in China. And the topic I was giving was a topic I was passionate about. And what I did is I moved toward the camera. You know, I used my hands, I made more gestures. That's important, you can do that. You don't need to stand, hello, I'm really excited to tell you about, I wanna pitch this to you. No, you really need to you can use the space. You can turn your phone horizontal, correct, right? And make a good pitch. This is true. You can make a startling statement. Smoking kills. That is a startling statement. And I think with your ecological projects that you're making pitches for, it could be really helpful to come up with a startling statement that would cause everyone just to stop and say, I want to hear more. I want to hear more about what this person, or what this is going to be about. Oh, excuse me. Curiosity or suspense. You can ask lots of a question, throw it out at the beginning. Tell a story. I think in some ways you only have 30 seconds. So as we have our longer speeches, we may do that, but I think for a pitch, you have to be very careful that first 30 seconds. Yeah, a rhetorical question is a great way to get people to think. A rhetorical question causes people to think and actually move in the direction that you want them to go. Quotations are a suggestion, but my personal feeling is I think a quotation is better at the conclusion of a speech. But you can put a quotation or a strong statement at the beginning. It does add authority to the speech. You can reference the occasion. What are we talking about? What is the topic that I want to go the rest of my time with? And that is where, again, you want to introduce your topic sooner than later. Humor. Humor is a great thing to do. For example, Tom said I did a speech contest last year, and my humor was about my older son. And I shared how when he was 2 years old, he came up to me in our room when I was getting dressed, and he said, Mommy, you're a girl. And I said, well, yes, I am, Josh. And I wasn't quite sure what to do. So then I asked, how do you know I'm a girl? And he looked at me and he's like, because you wear earrings. I was like, okay, that's a great, moment. People can all identify with, the little story, and it was kind of fun to do with my kids. Another one is audience participation. Something that I did a couple weeks ago is, as I did my intro, I said, hey, welcome. Do you know why we're all here tonight? Ask me why.
Why?
Why? Because it is just great to be together. Do you know why I like Toastmasters? Ask me why.
Why?
Because I get to be with people like this. And so again, I just got to engage. And actually, they were kind of working on things. But when I said that question, they responded to me. And so you need to think about ways to engage your audience and have participation. And asking a question can be a great way. You can ask any question. Oh my goodness. A demonstration. So for example, I've been holding these cards in my hand, and maybe you wonder why. And a demonstration would be, I think the situation we're in is just like House of Cards. Our government is not stable and things are going to collapse. And so in some ways, if you have something that can demonstrate what you're doing or give an example, is a great thing to do. You do need to avoid these things, and I do see these things a lot when people do their presentations. Don't acknowledge how much time it took to prepare. You don't need to do that. Don't waste your time saying that. Don't be dull and boring. So something that we really encourage in Toastmasters is the use of your vocal variety, pauses, and be able to communicate. We may talk more about this later, but that's an important thing. You want to mention the topic early. So in your first 30 seconds, mention what you want to talk about. And in conclusion, I love this. A dynamic beginning is essential for a successful speech. Thanks. Next, I want to talk about, I'm going to go right into my next topic of conclusion. Great. Like I said, I really wanted to talk about these two topics because I truly believe that the intro and the conclusion are the most important things. You know, it's like the sandwich or the Oreo cookie. You know, those two bookends really bring the speech together. We actually just had a speech contest here in Almaty, and it was interesting, the different speeches. Some started strong, but didn't finish really well. But some had both in the beginning and the end, and you could tell it makes a difference. Here's criteria for a successful conclusion of a speech. You want to have a sense of closure. In my speech that I gave yesterday for this Shanghai Toastmasters, the topic was, "It makes a difference." And that was the title of my speech. And I actually talked about our younger son who's adopted, and I had a little twist in it. But at the beginning of the speech, I said, it makes a difference in his life that we've adopted him. So at the end of my speech, I ended with, but what I realize is that it's made a difference in my life. And so it brought the beginning and the end together, and, you know, to try and have a good closure of your speech. Make an impact. I really believe that, you know, you can pick the words that are going to touch your audience and that they're going to feel. And again, the impact for me is like passion in the way that you say something, that they can feel your passion when you are up there. And again, saying it at the beginning and at the end, because the end is the last thing that they're going to hear. The last thing that when we do our speeches, you know, it's the last 30 seconds of our speech. We show a red card and everyone knows they need to wrap it up. And sometimes if they're not good, they haven't had good time management, they quickly wrap it up. But you can really tell if someone has really thought through their conclusion and they're able to pause, bring it home, and make a strong statement. Again, it should be only 30 seconds. So you have your body, but the beginning and the ending are strong 30 seconds to have. I really do believe this, that quotation at the end can be really strong, because it does add authority. It can amuse listeners. It can dramatize your speech. Again, you can tell a short story. Again, if you only have 30 seconds, I think wrapping it up, tying the bow, right? Tying the bow on the package of what you're trying to communicate. Develop it, make it short, and it reinforces your message. And I want to end with, again, in the 30 seconds, if you can summarize. Yep. Here we go. Memorize your conclusion. Again, I really believe in that. Your beginning and your end. End on time. Don't bring anything new. And I love this quote by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. which is interesting. We used to live in Boston and we used to walk to his house. We lived right in his neighborhood. But he said this, great is the art of beginning, but greater is the art of ending. And I would say, I know the phrase, you only have one chance to make a good first impression, but you also only have one chance to end well. And so just in my conclusion, as we think about how we want to do our beginnings and endings, you know, if we don't do these things well, and we're unable to communicate our ideas and help change the world, it's all going to go up in smoke. Thank you very much. And I'll turn it back over to our host for the evening, Tom Barkowski. Thank you, Tom.
All right, thank you, Michelle, for sharing with us the lessons that you've learned. So now it's a little quiz for you guys. So who can remind us of how Michelle began her speech? What did she do? We can have a couple of volunteers just to explain, how did she get your attention at the very beginning? Can someone unmute themselves and share with us?
She get attention of the audience.
How did she do that though? Tell me.
With emotion.
With emotion. But what did she do before she showed emotion? What did she do at the very beginning?
She clapped in her hands.
Okay, she clapped her hands. What else did she do? There's something else that she did at the very beginning.
She started really boring, actually, to make a point.
Yes, she did. And my question for you is, when she started really boring, what was your initial reaction?
Why is she talking?
Expected.
Amazement.
I think the main problem of a huge number of presentations today, even short presentation, is start with content. In my presentation, I would like to say 1, 2, 3, 4, and we already spent 20 seconds for the first most important thing. Yeah, 20 seconds was spent. And what I observed recently, actually, in the student and the advanced speakers with introduction, and also in internet, a lot of short movies with a very really long introduction, and it's absolutely forbidden today.
Yes, exactly, and that was her main point. Make your introduction short. So let me make my introduction short for our next speaker. We have Aigerim Batirova, who is also our VP of Social Events, VP of PR, and she's been in the club. I've seen her grow in her skills, not just in speaking, but in her leadership, because now she's not afraid to go talk to people, to have people cooperate with us, to co-sponsor events and other things. And so join me in welcoming and give me a warm round of applause for Aigerim Batirova, Overcoming Your Fear.
Hi there, my name is Aigerim. Today we are going to talk about fear, how to overcome your fear. And the second part of my speech, I will talk about how to prepare your speech and how to get ready to your speech. So before starting my speech, I want to ask you about the famous, about the famous speakers that you know. Please write down to the chat, or let me see. You can write your favorite speaker. Steve Jobs, Arnold. Yes. Jack Ma, Oprah Winfrey, Nick Vujicic. And when I came to yes, Oprah, great. Steve Jobs, yeah. When I came to Toastmasters, I really thought, I was amazed by experienced, brilliant speakers. I thought that one day I will be like them. I will overcome my fears. But in reality, now I'm a member for almost more than 1 year, and I figured out that the experienced speaker are feeling depressed and anxiety before their speech. They didn't even, they can't even work properly at their main jobs. So I want, if you come here to, if you thought that I will help you to overcome your fears, you are not right. But here's fear. It's your lifelong friend. So these speakers, almost famous speakers, are getting used to overcome and deal with their fears. And they are experienced one, they are feeling fears. And for me, I could say that I'm competent in that sphere because I'm dealing with these feelings. Let's talk about anxiety triggers, why we feel stressed. New unknown situations. Every time, and even if it's not about the speech, you feel anxiety and a little bit fear about the new things. But in reality, when you go through your fears, it's the place where you develop your skills. It's a place where you are growing. And risk of failure. Nobody wants to be a loser. So that's why we are thinking of our failure before giving a speech. Potential of appearing foolish. For example, you think that your English is not so good, you have an accent, but in reality, it's okay, you are not native speaker, or even if you are a native speaker, you are trying a new thing for the first time. Possibility of boring the audience. You might think that your speech title or your speech delivery is monotonous and your vocal variety and your voice is low and all people are almost bored and almost sleeping. But in reality, it can be not true. Anxiety symptoms. Let's talk about anxiety symptoms and how this anxiety appears to your body and to your mind. It's about increasing heart rate. When you feel like you're so stressed out and you're hearing your own heartbeat, and butterflies in your stomach when you think that you want to go to WC, and uncontrollable shakes, light tenderness, and dizziness. Let's talk about managing this anxiety. And first, I want to talk about experience. You need to do more practice. Imagine how you are, imagine your speech and practice in front of a mirror, practice in front of other audience, practice in front of your family, in front of your friends, in front of your even colleagues. Also, if you are in Toastmasters Club, you can deliver your speech here. Managing anxiety. The next step, the next tip is visualization. So now I want to all of you do some exercise with me. Close your eyes. Imagine that you have a great morning with a cup of coffee or tea. You are already ready to your speech. You rehearsed it several times. Now it's time to deliver your speech. You are sitting in front of desktop. The host is introducing you, and you are starting. You are beginning your speech emotionally, as Michelle said. You are telling about your project. You're concluding your project. Then you are seeing a lot of excited messages in text. So now you done it, and you go to the restaurant or some cafe and buy some dessert and have a great evening. So the visualization helps to understand that it's real thing. It's not like going into the space without oxygen mask. It's real thing. Managing, let's talk about relaxation. There is two ways to relax. First, it's exercises, like you can do squats or push-ups or boxing. And if you're a lazy person like me, you can tighten your muscles several times like me. Or if you are sitting before your speech, you can sit and tighten your muscles, jaws, and your eyebrows. And after several times, if you do it more than 5 times, you feel relaxed. And it will be easily to deliver your speech. Breathing techniques. You can inhale with your nose, exhale with your mouth, like you can help your hand with, you can do it with your hand. You can do it around 10 times. So I want to say it's normal to be nervous, and to be nervous and feel anxiety before your speech, it's normal thing. And this fear feeling, it's your main body, exactly. And no one sees that you're nervous in the audience, because even if you have wet hands, even if your voice is somehow shaking, no one admits it. So you are just faking to be confident. So the next speech. Thank you. The preparation at practice. Actually, the main technique to overcome your fear is preparation and practice. So you need to become familiar with the space, with your audience. And if you are using Zoom, be aware that you are not using like filter in Snapchat, like cat scene. And be aware of your microphone and internet connection, because you try to call your friends to hear the voice if they are hearing you well. And room conditions. plan in advance where we will sit and deliver your speech. The room, if the room is cold or if it's hot, wear comfortable clothes for that. And if it's watch the lighting of the room. Prepare presentation, visual aids, and ask the host in advance to give you a right to share this with your screen. Please practice not the words entire. Don't try to remember and quote every single word that you wrote in your rehearsal. Just keep in mind the ideas of your speech. So outline the main parts of your speech and keep it in your mind and remember it. You need to have at least 15 times of rehearsal session. Mm-hmm. And I really understand when some members said, I don't really have time to prepare my speech. The guests were coming and I have a lot of stuff at work. I was looking to my cousins, etc. But I think this is real good place to practice, because you are distracted always and you are keeping delivered this speech and rehearsing it, and it's real ideal condition for that. So keep in mind, when you are rehearsing, like laying in a couch, almost sleeping, and repeating it, and all your audience are sleeping also to that lullaby. Rehearse your speech emotionally. Use your mouth, use your jaws, use your gestures, and link the words or outlines to your speech with your gesture and your voice. You can't rehearse your speech from the beginning for excellent. Step by step, try to rehearse it. For example, first, you rehearse it by the paper. Second, you rehearse, you are using time. Third, don't use this paper of your speech outlines. So to conclude my speech, I want to say that you need to provide the introduction to the host of the meeting, and you need to prepare yourself physically, sleep well, drink a lot of water, do not eat heavy food before your speech, and have a mental rehearsal. Actually, it's similar to visualization exercise that we had. You need to, before giving a speech, you can close your eyes and do some mental rehearsing. Today, I said about how overcome your fears and prepare and practice to your speeches. I hope that it was helpful for you. Thank you.
Thank you, I agree. So, as we review this, a couple of things I want you to do is she talked about different things, breathing, different things. So if right where you're at, stand up, please. I want you to stand up. I see people still sitting, but stand up. That's your desk. And I want you to stand like this and put your arms like this. Or even go like this. This is like pretend like you're crossing the finish line. Like you're going to be the victor. Put your chest forward, put your arms back. So there you go. Stand like this. And look at the screen and do it. So one of the questions that people often ask is, what comes first, the chicken or the egg, right? And so often people ask the question in public speaking, what comes first, appearing confident or feeling confident? And actually the two things are intertwined. As you saw Igariam do different things here, she appears confident, but she may be nervous on the inside. I was surprised when she said, I'm not here to tell you how to overcome your fear. Because there will always be fear, there will always be nervousness, but it's about learning to control it. And if you take time to stand and practice poses as well as practice your speech, the hormones in your body will help you to overcome those fears and you will feel more confident. So our next speaker is someone who has a lot of confidence. He's our Vice President of Education in our club. He's helped organize many different events. He helped organize this. He's someone who knows how to give a speech, and his speech is entitled not only how to give a speech, but how to say it. So join me in welcoming Damir Nauruzbayev.
Thank you. Thank you, Tom. So good morning, good day, good evening, dear contestants. And let me first explain what does it mean how to say it, because the name maybe does not tell you much about the training itself. So to start with, let me describe you the criteria of a successful speech, or a pitch in your case. So for example, you have a pitch, and in a nutshell, it is divided into two parts. What do you say and how you say it? So each of it has its own description. So what you say is your main idea, yes? The idea of your pitch. This is the reason why you are here. You want to promote some idea, to make this world better, to solve some problem, to bring new solution for the task that humanity have now. The second is how you say it, is the delivery of your pitch. This is how you move, how you talk, what's the voice tone, what's the volume, what's your gestures like, and other things that you prepare in advance. And somewhere in between what you say and how you say is the content. So how you say what you want to say is the specific sentence structure, the words, the rhetorical devices you use to explain your idea. And now I will just describe you and give several tips on how to write the outline of your speech and what to look at when you prepare the content. So, write for the ear. What does this mean? So when you read the book or the article in a magazine, if you didn't get the main idea of the line or the paragraph, you can return back and reread it. That's some luxury that your judges will not have. If you said something, they will not be able to rewind this sentence and start it again. So this is actually means that your idea should be described in the first take, right to the mind of your judges. What will help you to deliver this in a better way? Again, as Igariam already said, the repetitions, rehearsals, say it again and again, trying to rehearse in front of your family, in front of your friends, colleagues, just to make sure that they understand what you want to tell. They understand the main idea, not some separate words, what you're telling them, but the main value that you want to bring. So I've attended different types of contests, pitch sessions. At some of them I was a judge. At some of them I pitched, I prepared the pitches, and I was just a guest. So, and I want to admit that in most cases, the judges decide the fact that they should stay unbiased. They will choose the one who will be the most memorable and most clear for them to understand. So that's why I brought these slides and this topic to you, just to give you the information about dozens of different techniques that you can use to make your speech more memorable. So let's start from the first one. Choose words and grammar which communicate clearly. So when you attend in different types of pitch sessions that are related to some technical background, usually speakers try to use some technical terms, some technical vocabulary, long words, and very complicated to impress the audience, impress the judges. Actually, this makes it worse. Use short words, short sentences, and short paragraphs to make your idea more clear, because short words are usually easy to get, easy to listen to, easy to understand, and easy to catch the meaning that you put into these words. And short sentences easier for speaker to remember. So that is why they are more easier for audience to understand. A paragraph is the part of your pitch that describes one short part of your idea. And the paragraph is the part that is apart from other paragraphs by some short pause that will give some time for your judges, listeners, and guests to digest the information that you brought them in this exact paragraph. Choose descriptive words to transport your audience from their chairs to the setting where your idea takes place. What does this mean? This means, and this is very actual for your case, because you will give a pitch in front of your desk, in front of your laptop, and judges will still sit in front of their laptops and just watch the screen. Your task is to transfer them to your lab, to your office, to some spot where you describe the idea, to this soil around the RLC. Your task is to show them the problem and show your solution, how you see how this problem could be solved. This is not very easy, and this is task for you to use descriptive words that will that will help you to achieve this goal. And the word should appeal to some senses. It should help to see what you see. It should help to feel what you feel about this idea. It should help to understand the things that you know and that you understand now. And also, this words should steer audience's imagination about what you are talking about. And for example, so if you want to say that this proposal will result in more for our project, this will not tell audience the exact amount. This will not tell the clear details of what you want to say. Better to say this proposal will boost the income by some amount of money, like $20,000, enough to buy new equipment and supplies for the next year. So this is the same sentence, just more descriptive, that will bring more details and information for the judges. At the same time, you want to use the active voice. So when you talk about something, the active voice brings more impression, brings more value, brings more action for those who listens to you. And instead of telling the programs were reviewed by us, you can tell we reviewed the programs. And the active voice clearly states who is doing what and what you are going to do and what is your part in this action, in this sentence. So, and in most cases, the active voice use fewer words, so you'll have more time to speak. And let's go to the next part. Be more specific and use words economically. So you only have 5 minutes for your pitch. So this 5 minutes should contain the whole information from the very beginning to the very end of your idea. And that's how pitches actually differs from other types of public speeches. If in other types of public speeches you have like 15 minutes up to an hour or several hours to deliver your message to the audience, in the pitch you don't have this luxury. So be more specific in a word, and use the words that will not have a second meaning, or the sentence that will not have a second meaning, because you will not have time to just describe what you wanted to say. And if judges will understand you wrong, you cannot like undo this. So instead of telling that this technology is cheap, you should describe in more details what you wanted to say, because judges could understand you that this technology is more advanced, that is why it's more expensive, or this technology is more simple, or in the worst case, they can understand that this technology was made very poorly, has lower quality, that's why it's cheap. So try to avoid this kind of sentences, like double meaning is not your friend in this case. And try to save a lot in fewer words. Yes, I know that I just told you to describe the meaning so that people will understand you and understand exactly what you are saying, but still you need to try to use fewer words. So there are big difference between descriptive words and those words that are unnecessary, and sometimes there are just filler words that you use to fill your sentence with some additional words that will bring no meaning and does not describe anything. So for example, phrases such as you know, it has been shown that, or something that you will like bring just to introduce some second part of the sentence could be eliminated. So other phrases like can be reduced or shortened for your case. So for example, just have a couple of examples. If you want to say a larger number of something, you can say like many, or if you want to like explain how many exactly, you better tell exactly. At the present time, you can replace with a now, that will be more shorter. In the event of can be replaced by word if. Just for example. Of course, you need to eliminate jargon and say it correctly. So if you want to tell some terms regarding your technology, you better know exactly what you're saying. Some words could be tricky, have the second meaning, and some words could not mean the thing that you want to say. So recheck, especially if English is not your first language, or that if it's your second language, like for me, or third language. So you better check the terms and different technical words, explanations and descriptions to be sure that this is exactly what you want to say. And use rhetorical devices throughout the paragraph and repetition of sentences throughout your speech to make your speech memorable. As I told you in the very beginning of my speech, the judges will choose the pitch not only by the idea, because the criteria I showed you contains idea, it contains the delivery, and it contains the content of your pitch. These three things will work on you. So idea you already have, will have nothing to do with that. The delivery you will train and rehearse just to make sure that you are comfortable in front of the audience. You use the gestures, you use the different visual aids, presentation slides. And the third thing is content. So this content can help you to be more memorable for the audience and for the judges. So how? Just by using different rhetorical devices. That I will explain you what is that, because the term rhetorical devices could be not so clear. So rhetorical devices will help your audience to understand your thoughts better, to remember your ideas for a longer time. They are simile, metaphors, alliterations, and triads. Actually, there are more of them, but for your case, these four are most suitable, and that's why I chose them to explain to you. So simile is a just simple comparison that uses words like or as. So for example, denying education to kids is like not watering the plants, or he ran fast like a horse. What is metaphors? Metaphor is a figure of speech in which a word or phrase is applied to an object or action to which is not literally applicable. This will bring more, require more imagination from judges to jump to the feelings that you feel. So they are describing your emotions about something much more. For example, the fire in me kept me going towards my goals. Of course, literally, there is no fire in me, but this shows you how I feel and how I behave. Alliterations. Alliterations is a very popular tool. Many people don't know about this tool, but a lot of you know how people use this, because alliterations, in alliteration, the initial sounds in words are repeated in a pleasing or memorable manner. So alliterations are widely used in media, widely used in business, widely used in like movies, cartoons, and other areas. For example, different logos and brand names. Dunkin' Donuts is an alliteration. Coca-Cola, PayPal, YouTube is not an obvious way of alliterations. It starts with different letters, but still it has like the same sound in the beginning. YouTube, the BlackBerry, TikTok, American Airlines, KitKat. You bring more examples in the chat. So you will try to remember how many different alliterations you actually know in your regular life and didn't how to say I forgot the word, didn't realize that this is alliterations. Thank you, Ejan. The second is the cartoons. Did you ever thought that Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Daffy Duck, Bugs Bunny, these four from Disney are all alliterations? As well as Peppa Pig, SpongeBob SquarePants, Krusty Krabs, and many others. Alliterations are very popular in cartoons because kids are very attentive to this kind of details. Not consciously, just somewhere deep in their mind. That's why like we remember these guys from our childhood. And for example, for adults, it works the same way. So DC and Marvel, it's a very competitive area, so they need to compete between each other. So they use this rhetorical device to bring their movie on the next level and be further there than their competitor. Batman Begins, Fantastic Four, they could be 5 or 6, but 4 sounds better. Suicide Squad, you can name them Suicide Team, Suicide Platoon, but Suicide Squad is an alliteration. It will sound better. Wonder Woman, why it's Superman, but Wonder Woman. Why it's not Superwoman? Because Wonder Woman is an alliteration. And the real names of these characters are also alliterations. Peter Parker, Clark Kent, Bruce Banner, the Hulk, Wade Winston Wilson, who is Deadpool, they are all alliterations. And triads. Triads are ideas or points grouped and expressed in threes. This is very easy, and you see it every time in your life, especially in different names of very famous speeches, and in the, for example, not the brand names, but the mottos, and in the quotes. So, democracy is for the people, by the people, and of the people. These 3 statements are very easy to memorize because this is a triad. This government made us to lose our jobs, our fortunes, and our lives. Very impressive, don't you find it? But these are like simple words grouped in a triad. Sounds much more powerful. Let us lead an environment-friendly fire by reducing, reusing, and recycling plastics. This is a triad with an alliteration, which boosts it and make it even more memorable for the audience. So in conclusion, Keep sentence and paragraph construction simple and short. Make it easier to digest. Use rhetorical devices to enhance and emphasize ideas. Use similes, use alliterations, triads, and metaphors to make your speech more memorable and more easy to visualize. Eliminate jargon and unnecessary words and use correct grammar, of course. Don't give an opportunity for the judges to bring wrong meaning to the words you will say. Thank you. The stage back to Toastmaster.
All right. Thank you, Damir, for a great speech with a lot of helpful information for you. So a quick review on the question I want to ask you is at the beginning, he talked about something you can almost say are the two wings of an airplane. If I ask you, which wing of an airplane is more important, the left wing or the right wing? Which wing would you say? If you think the right wing, raise your hand. If you think the left wing, put your hand down. Left wing, right wing, which one's more important? Well, obviously, we all know the answer is both wings are important, right? A plane won't fly with one wing. So likewise, when you give a presentation, not only what you say, but how you say it's important. And that's what Damir's saying is what you say and how you say it. So let's keep that in mind. Our next speaker is going to present to us storytelling. He's been a member of our club for 4 years. He's an excellent speaker. In fact, I still remember a lot of one of the very first speeches he gave in our club 4 years ago. So that is a testament to his speaking ability. And as you think of pitching or you think of people in business, a word I hear everywhere among business consultants and others today is tell your story. You have to communicate your story to connect with your audience, to connect with their hearts, not just their heads. So let's invite Alisher Tamerlano up to tell us about storytelling.
Thank you very much, Tom. Thank you very much. Hello, dear listeners. It's a great honor to see you all tonight. In the next couple of minutes, we're going to talk about two really cool, important topics. First one is storytelling, and second one is engaging the audience, which, if you think about it, work very, very well with each other. Now, before I start, I just want to clarify that it's going to be an interactive session. So if you have any questions, please write them in the chat. Any questions related to the storytelling or engaging the audience, or just investing sphere in general, pitching and so on. Yes, so let me ask you the first question. And the question is, what do you believe is more important, product or the product design or marketing of your product? Could you write some of the answers in the chat, please? And while you're answering, yeah, it sounds very, very similar to like what maybe Tom just said, but still, I just want to take a look what you believe is more important, marketing or product, again, in the context of Kazakhstan, not in the global context. All right, so dear friends, if you think about it, when you build your product, you actually need to, you actually need to think about it like, what is the main reason why we're building this product? What is the main reason why we're making this solution for the world? And what I'm trying to say by this, in the long term, no matter how much and how hard you're striving to prepare for these pitches, your product, actual product, is already 90% of your work. Because if you truly believe in your product, right? If you truly believe in your solution, then you will be passionate enough to talk about it. And moreover, you think about your product every day, every night, all the time, because you're driven. Because what is the product? It's a masterpiece that is not finished. You will never be able to say that, all right, we finished our product. Which means that you can always improve, reiterate, refine it, and so on. All right, before I continue, let's take a look at the chat. So we have a couple of answers. All right. Product and marketing. I agree that both of them, both marketing. All right, that's really, really cool. Well, you see, there are no right or wrong answers here, right? Depending on the context. Sometimes marketing is really important. You may have new products. Think about the history. If you think about Steve Jobs, who had birthday just a couple of days ago, Macintosh was a terrible product. If you think about it, it was just a terrible product, but it was the best marketing ever. Yes, it worked very well on the stage, but if you go to the history, the reason the sales dropped because the product sucked and it was too expensive. And so, dear friends, if you think about it, if you have, you may still succeed if you have really good marketing, especially in Kazakhstan, if you are ready to pitch it. And now storytelling is about marketing, is the core of the marketing. Because if you think about it, like Simon Sinek says, it's not what you do, it's not how you do it, it's just why you do it all. And while you start explaining to your judges, to your audience, what is the primary reason behind your motivation and intention to build this kind of product, this is so much more convincing that your solution will work out. There are investors of different shapes and sizes today. But there are no investors who will go just for money, especially when we're talking about really big investors, especially if you're talking about venture capitalists. If you think about it, they will never go just for statistics. You need data to prove your words. If you're just talking and saying that, yes, our product will change the world, but that's very superficial. You need data, but data by itself is not enough. And that's where you definitely need the storytelling part. So let's think about it. How you can incorporate storytelling into your pitch? Well, on the first place, we should distinguish between story of your product and story of your company. And actually, if you somehow make it in just one page, it'll be so powerful because investors invest not in individuals, they bet on teams. Even more importantly than product, if the investor sees that your team rocks, that your team is stellar, they will be much more confident because they will understand, all right, maybe their product is not that good enough at this stage, but the team is great. Team has enormous potential. And that's why in your storytelling part, you should cover 3 essential aspects. First one is your team and why your team cares about this solution. And in a couple of minutes, I will give you my personal example so that to show you, dear friends, that it's not just theory. I've personally gone through that, even though I have not attracted investments. Second, it's about the product. Definitely, you need to focus on the product, on the solution by itself. And it has to be innovative in your case. Last but not least, it's the customers, obviously. It is the audience. It is who you deeply care about. And now, let me just start diving a bit in innovative sphere, because when we start thinking about innovation, especially disruptive innovation, and by the way, let me just quickly clarify it. Nothing is disruptive. Innovation is not disruptive. Customer adoption is disruptive. And so if you're really coming with intention just to disrupt some major industries, probably it's not going to work out. You should understand that your primary focus is not to do bad for some people, it's to do good for the people and take it to the next level. And so disruptive innovation is about customer adoption. And if you start understanding it in deep details, you understand that innovation must not be too innovative. Just think about it. If you just propose something out of the blue, something absolutely new, people will be scared. Think about historical examples, how many innovations failed. The timing was wrong because, first of all, the product itself was too early. And second of all, people didn't know how to propose it, how to market it, how to promote it. What kind of story we can tell people? Because people themselves have not experienced any need in this product. All right, now talking about the team and talking about the company, why you care about this. Dear friends, let me just tell you just a short story of my company, and it's Profound English. It's online English school, which is highly innovative. And at the same time, it has mission. And believe it or not, company did not exist until its mission was born. And mission sounds very simple. Unite the world with the global language. Very simple. Unite the world with the global language. And the company was not created until the mission was there. And think about the mission. It is the core of your story. Now let me tell you the story of my company so that you see how it could actually be incorporated. So we believe that today the world experiences a lot of challenges. Climate change, COVID-19, inequality, poverty, and there are so many more. And we believe that none of those great challenges of the 21st century could be addressed by a single country. For that very reason, we need cooperative actions of the major economies. But how could those economies like China and the United States cooperate if they speak different languages, if they do not understand each other, if they have different cultural values? So you see what I'm doing now? I'm telling you the story, how small English school in Kazakhstan can save the world by uniting all the countries around one global language, which proposes the values of unity, of cooperation, of inclusivity. And so what this means, you can say why you deeply care about the world, why your company, why your team is here to save the world. And it took me just 1 minute, and you can make it in just 1 minute. You can incorporate it in your pitch. Now, moving to the product part. If you think about the product, just remind yourself a couple of examples of Amazon or Apple when they show, or Facebook, when they show actual examples of use cases of how their tools and services actually save the world. It is just small stories, how just one little guy in some location used Amazon to, to order a camera and then to make his or her dream come true. Or how Facebook truly connects people. Or how Apple makes our lives much more private. And those stories are really powerful. Instead of just saying, you open the app, you go to this point, and you will get to your goal in 2 clicks. Yes, that's cool, that's nice, but it's not the story. Because we're all human creatures, human individuals, we're emotional individuals. And that's why we need to see this interesting thing to believe in. And once you show us that you deeply believe that this innovation will save the world, or at least will solve some major problem, you have so many higher chances. And if you think about it, product and customer are indistinguishable. So you need to connect the values of the product with the needs and the problems of your customer. And by these means, your judges, your potential investors will be so much more convinced that you deeply care about your customers. And not only within just these competition, but of course beyond. Because if they become your investors, they will be with you for a long time probably, right? Especially if they become your partners. Now, dear friends, if you have any questions, please write them down. All right, now we're moving forward. And now we're thinking how to work with the audience. Because if you think about it, great speech is not talking to the audience, but it's talking with the audience. And especially it's going to work with storytelling. When you're saying one interesting, beautiful story, the great part about storytelling is that you should prepare it very well. Think of Steve Jobs again, or any great presenter like Jeff Bezos of Amazon. They were polishing every single word because every wording matters a lot. Yet at the same time, they were natural. The trouble with preparation is sometimes you lose the natural part because, again, you're so focused on the wording, right? You're so focused on the message, and you start forgetting that the audience itself can contribute to the message itself. And if you think about it, the primary difference between introverts and extroverts is that because extroverts, they show that when you talk to somebody, they react to your words. They don't just get energy from inside of themselves. They get energy from the other person on the other side. And so for that very reason, you should definitely show that you're delivering your message not to the audience, but with the audience. How? Definitely asking questions on the first place, as long as you have the time, of course. But once you're just making these pauses and you see that the audience has digested the part you've already said, you have so much higher chance to make them feel that, all right, they are not talking to the wall. They're talking to us, to living creatures, to living people. And moreover, when it comes to engaging, it's not only about questions. It's most importantly about relevance to your audience. And the topic of which is a different topic about preparation to your audience. But once you really know the deep needs of your audience, you will be so much more to the point while you're addressing your speech and when you are engaging your members. All right, dear friends, let's summarize it. On the first place, storytelling is about what you believe in, is about your values, is about your culture. And it's so much powerful when you put the story part into the delivering your information about your product, about your company, and how you're going to help your customers. Engaging the audience is about interacting with your audience, not to your audience. And so for that reason, you can incorporate different questions or making the pauses at the right time. You will naturally feel it. And of course, preparation to this exact audience. Dear friends, I really wish you good luck. I hope you're going to do your best attracting investments is one of the hardest part and one of the most responsible part of yours in building your companies of the future. So great, good luck, and yeah, build a great future. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Alisher. So thank you for staying with us. The last presenter that we have today is somebody who's going to be talking about impromptu speaking, and we'll give you opportunities to practice that, to talk about the importance of why we need to be able to think on our feet and not just be prepared. Before we do that, I just want to make the one comment about Alisher said about teams being important. Is it is true that investors invest in teams. And so when you make your presentation and when you get to the Q&A part, it's really important that people see that you're in it together and that you guys are aligned and working well, because that is something that even though only one person may present, all should be a part of it. So our last presenter is Aijan, and she is a member of our leadership team, and she is someone who has grown a lot through her involvement and has given a lot, and she has great wisdom that she can share with you and help you practice. Join me in welcoming Aijan.
Thank you, Tom. Good evening, dear participants. Congratulations upon being included in short list. Probably you're wondering why impromptu speaking was included in this training. You already knew how to start, how to conclude, how to say it, how to overcome your fears, and you already knew how to do storytelling. We face impromptu speaking every day, as a telephone calls, as a conversations with our colleagues or people surrounding us. But in your case, we included impromptu speaking because there is a part of Q&A session, which is very important as well as pitching. When you're giving impromptu speak, it's very important to listen. You probably know Larry King, very famous and legendary interviewer. In his book, How to Speak to Anyone, Anywhere, and Anytime, he suggested that he become very popular and famous interviewer because he was actually listening to people. Mm-hmm. He said that most people are trying to get prepared to answer, to reply, and they don't care about people saying something. So he suggested that in order to be a good speaker, you need to listen. Pauses is very important as well. Pauses can add drama. It can provide time for people to adjust messages that you said, to laugh when you joked. For instance, when I joined Almaty Toastmasters Club, I tried to incorporate jokes into my speeches, but I didn't leave any space for people to laugh. So people were laughing, but I was continuing with my speeches. Confirm. When you get a question, when you see it or read, it's okay to confirm. Did you get it right? To restate the question in order to provide a proper answer. Tell. When you're answering the question, it's very important to stick to the main idea. And when you finished with delivering your idea, it's very important to make a conclusion. As Michelle said about your pitching, it's also important to conclude your idea when you are delivering impromptu speech, when you are answering a question. It's also important, and if it's possible, to have an eye contact when you are finishing with your speech. Strategies that could be useful in impromptu speeches. Express an opinion. You can state your opinion and support it with a statement or examples. You also can share why you agree or disagree with this opinion. Another strategy is address cause and effect, like what caused it and what consequences could lead if you use this or that method. Break the topic into components. You can list components and then try to describe them and tell what effect would have this or that technique or method that you are suggesting. discuss the past, present, and future. You can timeline your answer, starting from the beginning, saying what would be in the process and how it would conclude. Whatever you do, be confident. It's okay to pause when you face the question. It's okay to confirm the question. Be brief. When you're answering questions, try to stick to the main points. Be sincere. If you are not aware how to answer, probably it would be better to state it. It could be very risky when you are trying to come up with a question, with the answer to a question that you don't know. In Toastmasters, we have a long-standing tradition which is called table topic session. It helps members to get prepared to impromptu speaking. Now I want to practice with you table topic session, so you could apply all the training that you heard today. Here's the rules. Read a question, prepare for 30 seconds, speak for 1 or 2 minutes. Is it clear for you? Okay, that's good. Agrim would help me to track the time. You would have 1 or 2 minutes. When you speak for 1 minute, she will show you the green card. When you speak for 1.5 minutes, she will show yellow card. And when you get to 2 minutes, she will show red card. Are you ready?
One question.
Yeah, sure.
Should we all speak at once, or we should raise the hand?
Great question, thank you. I will randomly pick someone, so everybody should be pay attention and be active. The first question, please briefly introduce your team. What is the main feature that makes it different from other teams? Guys, you have 30 seconds to get prepared. I will go through list of participants and I will pick one person. It looks like Emmanuel is ready to answer. Emmanuel, could you please unmute yourself?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, hello.
Hello.
The team of Carteco is together from 2007. It began by the, let's say it began with the joint efforts of 2 brothers that pursued their dreams, and they started building on this team with experts around parts of different expertise. The difference, the main feature that makes it different from other teams is the fact that we are driven by a common dream and a common vision of helping world being sustainable and try to bring new technologies to better the lives of people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Manuel. You've already used some techniques that we shared tonight. You restated a question when you were answering. Thank you so much.
Thank you, you're welcome.
The next question. What do you love most about your team or project? You have 30 seconds to get prepared. Now I'm gonna call Ayman Absattarova. Ayman, could you please unmute yourself? Okay, it looks like she's unavailable. Maybe Janai?
Oh, yes, thank you very much. It's a great opportunity to present our group. So I love our group because we're a group of cross-disciplinary, group of the different experts in our group, including IT experts, and we have agronomists, and we have water experts. And because we're a cross-disciplinary team, we're ready to develop a very important project for our region. It is related to inefficient use of water resources and inefficient crop growing technologies, or what we have in our region. It's related to rice and cotton. So we're targeted to develop a well-connected chain of models which will help people to improve technologies. What should they grow? It's related to canola type of crops, and it will require efficient use of water resources and soil studies, and it requires different type of expertise. That's why I love my team, because we have different experts, and we're eager to work with each other, and we're eager to listen to each other. So hopefully we'll succeed in our project here. Thank you very much.
Nice, thank you. You sound very enthusiastic, and you provided statement and supporting ideas. Thank you so much. Let's move to third question. What is the story behind your interest in restoring landscape in the Aral Sea region? While answering to this question, you can try to apply storytelling. Share your story behind your interest. Any volunteers? Okay, I will call myself. Andrei.
Yes, thank you for such opportunity. Actually, I was born in central Russia and was really far from Aral Sea. But in the science, I grew up in the department that was built by people from the Central Asia. And department was very involved, very high dense involved to the problematic of Aral Sea region. And then I lived to the Germany. And after 15 years in Germany, I back to the Central Asia and observe same places maybe 40 years later than my teachers. And now I really love the people and love the place. And my heart really strong cry about problems of the Aral Sea region. And my actually goal is to distribute the information about this topic over the world. This is my history, a reason of my interest to the Aral Sea region.
Thank you, Andrei, for sharing your story. It was very interesting, and I believe that it empowers people when they hear stories behind the project. The next question is, what impact do you want to leave on the world? You have 30 seconds to get prepared. Trina, are you ready to answer this question?
Sure. Good morning from Calgary. My name is Trina, and my startup company basically bioremediates and turn wastes into asset. And the impact I want to leave in the world is that there is no such thing as waste in nature. Waste only exists if you don't know what to do with it. And I think the pollutants and all these other chemicals and waste of agriculture that we've introduced in the Aral Sea region can be transformed into something that would be inspiring, not just to the Aral Sea region, but also to the rest of the world.
Thank you, Trina. Let's move to the next question. What makes you proud?
Please repeat, Aja.
What makes you proud? Altanay, are you ready to answer? I see that Shahnaz unmuted herself. Maybe she would like to answer this question.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for this insightful session, first of all. We invent technology for sustainable farming, so which helps to address the global hunger threat and food security issues. So our groundbreaking crop protection technologies and crop management solutions are transforming the dynamics of the farming industry. It enables millions of farmers to produce high quality, toxic residue pesticide free food and increase the yield by optimizing the use of available resources. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Shahnaz. Our time is approaching to its end. Thank you so much for everyone who participated in this session. Aigirim, thank you, Aigirim, for timing everyone. We had 5 participants, and 2 of participants tonight had less time. Based on our rules, you have to speak at least 1 minute. I want to bring your attention to time management. When you are getting ready to answer your impromptu question or delivering your speech, it's very important to make sure that you would be within time limit. Not to exceed it, but not to speak less. Thank you so much for sharing your stories, sharing your answers. It was very insightful for us. I hope you enjoyed the session. Thank you, and good luck with your projects.
All right. Thank you, Ajan, for giving people great interaction. And so one of the things that we just want to say again to you is we wish you well in this project and moving forward. So tonight we are sharing with you principles that we've learned in our own experiences and being a part of the Toastmasters Club of how to present both prepared speeches, impromptu, and how to relate to things. Also, the people that presented tonight will be members of our team that will help you prepare for your pitches. So there will be individual meetings where we will listen to what you have to say and then give you feedback on how to have a better opening, or how to tell your story a little bit differently, or how to use some of the techniques that Damir talked about with alliteration or triads or different things. Because in 5 minutes, we often say, if you have an hour to give your speech, you can prepare in an hour. If you have 20 minutes to give a speech, it takes a couple days to prepare. When you have 5 minutes to present, it takes actually longer to present a good 5 minutes, because you have to think of everything you want to say and compact it into a very short amount of time. And so your task is actually very difficult, but it's a very important one, and the work you're trying to do is also very important. So we applaud you for wanting to be a part of this. We look forward to working with you individually, and we'll have 2 additional trainings that will take place. Ilyas Batir will do a training on goal setting, and I will do a training on EQ or emotional intelligence, which is a lot about understanding yourself and other people and how to connect with your audience to get things. I'll turn it back to Damir to say a couple closing comments.
Yeah, this is actually not closing comments. We guys will provide you the address, email address, where you can send us the materials that you have and you want us to review and give a feedback to you. This we will send to you through the email broadcast that you already have when you receive the link to this training. And now it's time to turn back to Baljan, because there are a couple of things that you also need to know. Baljan, our training is over.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Damir and the team. I would like to pass the floor to Martin from the World Bank, who has some words to present about the next coaching session. And Martin, are you here with us?
Yes, thank you, Balsan. Well, what a great job, Tom, Michelle, Evelyn. I personally learned a lot, so thank you very much. I think it's gonna work very well for the presentations. We're going to have great judges from important institutions in addition to the bank. So it's your opportunity to write and to sell your idea to these judges, independently of what happens. So I just have a very quick and friendly reminder that we will have one-on-one meetings of 20 minutes each, where you will have 5 minutes to present and 5 minutes to for questions and answers. And overall, you'll have 20 minutes to discuss with the World Bank team and DQU and Toastmasters to make sure that your presentation is the best. Because we're here for you. We're here to make sure that your presentation is the best that you can do, and that it's gonna be great. So that's basically all that I want to say. You'll have my email. I'm gonna put my personal email here on the chat in case you have questions, and that's all. So thank you very much. Balsan, back to you.
Thank you very much. One thing that I would like to mention is that Damir, together with his team, will provide the mentors who will work together with the teams. And as he said, they will closely work with the team participants to prepare for the pitch session, and especially for this face-to-face meeting that Martin mentioned. And our next session will be, information about the next session will be announced tomorrow. Actually, we have the networking session on March 4th, and the rest information will be shared tomorrow. Yeah, that's all from my side. Actually, if you have any question, you can write to me and to Martin. His email here is in the chat. So thank you very much for coming, for joining. I hope you all liked the presentation. Thank you, our dear presenters team. Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thank you, Balkan.
Thank you.
Make sure you join the GLX platform.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I will share the video recordings on the GLF platform just in case you to remember to go and log in if you're still not there.
All right, well, thank you all for letting us participate in this with you. And again, we wish you all the best in moving forward with your ideas, projects, and presentations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank
See
you.
you
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye.